All right, what's going on, everyone? So, welcome to my channel. Thanks for tuning in today, and want to keep this one quick. I don't want to drone on forever, but one of these current news stories is the this destruction of this Nova Kakhovka dam in Ukraine. So, this is on the Dnipro or the Dnieper River. It's the largest river there in Ukraine. It flows into the Black Sea, goes through the capital of Kiev or Kiev. Actually, Chernobyl is upriver from Kiev, and then downriver from Kiev is that what's the name of that again? Zaporizhia. So that power plant that the Russian military has been occupying, nuclear power plant, and I think it's full of all kinds of sketchy gain of function labs and virology and bioweapons labs, and this can be evidence at the Nuremberg trials 2.0 in the 2030s. It's going to be another 10 years when the stuff's really known. So America, NATO, Ukraine, those are the Nazis. And this whole war in Ukraine, it's Russia's defending itself, and the West, NATO is it's the second attempt by the Nazis to try to conquer Russia. So, hell of a situation. But yeah, so this dam, major power plant built in the 50s, built by the Soviet government. And like the Nord Stream pipeline, the bullshit mainstream media, is blaming the Russian government again. And it's like with the Nord Stream, the intelligence was leaked by what was that kid, Taxiera? It was that National Guardsman in Massachusetts who leaked all that intelligence onto Discord. It was the U.S. had intelligence that the Ukrainians had plans to blow up the Nord Stream pipeline, which makes no sense because Vladimir Putin is like a major owner and shareholder in a Russian energy industry, and it's like doesn't make any fucking sense. It's like bad TV that he would order that. So, that was probably a joint Ukraine and who knows, CIA, we're talking like Special Activities Division or Blackwater or, even SEAL Team 6, who the fuck knows. Um, a lot of overlap, a lot of revolving doors between those three entities. Um, so, and then even Seymour Hersh, who he helped blow open, the fake intelligence that got us into the war in Iraq, and the JSOC, Joint Special Operations Command hit squads, back in the early war on terror. He leaked all those stories. He was the guy who leaked the My Lai massacre in Vietnam back during the 60s, So he used to be he was like the gold standard in journalism for the left, and now he's, just passed off as a right-wing conspiracy theorist because he's not going along with the corporate narrative that, the left loves corporations now, where they used to always be out to disclose corporate evil. So it's all flipped, The US is the empire of lies, just like the Soviet Union used to be. So anyway, back to this dam, Nova Kakova. Um, major, it's a runoff dam and it's a hydro plant. Now, it's downriver, excuse me, it's upriver from one of the largest reactors in Europe. Nuclear reactors is downriver, down towards Crimea. So, what this probably is the Ukrainian government has probably been ordered by deep state. So, deep state, it's not a bunch of satanic blood drinkers, it's a bunch of um, multinationals. So it's probably been ordered by Pfizer, J&J, these drug companies who run all these fucked up experiments in the third world, live human experiments and vivisections and gain of function. Probably been ordered by them to blow it up because There are sites, there are secret, sketchy, illegal biolabs downstream they need to flood, especially at that nuke plant that's downstream. You know, just like there were these labs at the Zaporizhia upriver, which the Russian military has been occupying for over a year. And the little, mummy's boys and daddy's girls in the US government saying, hands off on that material in that plant. It's proprietary. So, but the mainstream is running. So anyway, with this Nova Kakhovka plant in Ukraine, mainstream media is saying, well, the Russians did it again. Well, it's known that the Ukrainian government and military have had plans to blow this thing up, because it's in Russian-held territory. So, the whole mainstream narrative is just stupid. And, so the empire of lies, the US and NATO and the corporations behind them, their strategy of conquest is to be a bunch of fucking wimps. And this is what like the left and the woke is doing. They understand that they can be successful conquerors if they just act like a bunch of wimpy fucking victims. And people that disposition get attracted to those politics. They're wimps, and they know that they can be passive aggressive wimps, and they can tattletale on their mom, and their replacement moms are like the government, the police, they're fucking woke activism groups. They know that they can tattletale and they'll come to the rescue and, shout insults at whoever offended them. So, the Western world is a bunch of fucking pussies. Um, since the end of World War II, Western men have huge lines of credit where their balls used to be. And, Western women have turned into like, not all, but this is really the majority case here. Majority Western men have turned into that, and Western women have turned into just nightmare control freaks because we just live in such luxury and we're completely ignorant to all the fucked up things that have to go on to maintain our luxurious lifestyles. So, mummy's boys and daddy's girls and daddy's boys and mummy's girls. That's the Western world. But a lot of people aren't believing this shit. It's falling on its face, like the pandemic narrative, like the whole, ET's coming to invade us narrative. It's all falling apart. This is another deep state fail. People aren't gonna fucking buy it. Um, if you're young and you're watching this, especially a young male, you think about going in the military or something. This bullshit in Ukraine, it's not worth your life. The US military hasn't protected this country since the War of 1812. So what that? It's 211 years ago. So, think twice about the price of your life. And what was the other thing I was gonna say about that? Yeah. It's a bunch of bullshit. Yeah. We haven't the military hasn't fought to protect this country in a long time. It's a bunch of corporate financial games. Has been ever since, even the sacred cow World War II. It's a bunch of nonsense. So, bear this in mind because you've got fucking dipshits like George W. Bush saying that Zelensky, the former drag queen comedian, is like the Winston Churchill of his generation. And it's like, what fucking nonsense. Winston Churchill was a little shit too. He was in the British Army. He was buggering other guys in the British Army in South Africa. And in South Africa, he was in the British Army. And South Africa during the Boer War, Boer, check that out, Boer War. It's when the British were basically stealing land in South Africa from the Dutch and German Afrikaner farmers. And in the Boer War, around the turn of the 1800s to the 1900s, The British Empire invented concentration camps. So it wasn't the Soviets, it wasn't the Nazis, it was the British Empire. The US had come close with the American Indians, with the Native Americans, but the British Empire invented the concentration camp, so it was the Anglo-Saxon aristocrats and then the Anglo-Saxon, middle class military officers, and then, of course, their attack dogs, the Scots Irish. They're the ones who got the whole concentration camp program rolling. But, I think it was more on that Anglo-Saxon aristocrat level in the British Empire that thought that one up. NGOs, think tanks, came up with that one. Upper class people in those. Class warfare going on all the time. Socialism's definitely not the answer for it. But anyway, this whole destruction of this dam is falling apart because this power plant provides power to the Russian naval base in Crimea, so it makes no fucking sense. And it doesn't really, and a lot of people can see this and the whole thing's falling apart. So, don't buy the bullshit from these people. Join the movement to not believe the bullshit, right? So yeah, the Nazis will fail for the second time to conquer Russia. Russia hasn't even gotten serious about this war yet. It's like America where it takes a while, but Russia just devours invaders. Always has been, always will. And don't believe this shit about it's propaganda in the Western media about how like Russia's gonna nuke its own border region. Not gonna happen. Because again, Russia's not a Protestant empire. And its decision makers are not Anglo-Saxons and Scots Irish. Because, those are the two ruling groups of United States of America from the get-go. So they're the ones who dropped nuclear bombs on people. They did it twice on Japan just to see if it would work. They wanted to see if their project worked. With Nazi uranium and proximity fuses. But, they made that deal at the end of the war. It's a whole other subject. But, yeah, those are the people. It's these Protestant empires that invent concentration camps and drop nuclear bombs on people because there's just such an idea of their own superiority and their culture. So, that's how that goes down. So, yeah. Russia's not the enemy here. So anyway, we'll leave it at that. Hope you got something out of it, and I'll be back. Hopefully this doesn't land me in YouTube jail. Have a nice one.